Hey guys, this is another Who to Summon video, and first things first, this font is a bug, so it's gonna be fixed really soon. But I do really like when you tap and you move, you can see the name of the building. That is something really awesome. I'm pretty sure that's new and added now, but that's gonna help out with new players more than anything to know which building is which. So that's really awesome, especially these lower ones that I'm showing here. Because before you had to pretty much focus on what exactly is this. That's an awesome upgrade, but they're gonna fix the font. Don't worry, guys. In other words, the letters, just in case you're speaking another language there. So this time around, we have some really interesting options because it's been some time that I've seen Li-Bai being offered here. And of course, good old Agony. But let's talk about Raylan. Raylan here, honestly, I think that she's a very awesome hero. The thing about Raylan is that you actually need to have a lot of targets to be silenced for her to do her damage nicely when she's +5. But outside of that, she is able to silence her own enemies by 40%. So that's her biggest weakness. If this was 60%, she would have been silencing like almost all the time everybody in that situation. So that's when Bubble actually comes in. Bubble helps her do so much damage when she gets to +5, and that's another downside of her. You have to get her to +5 to do insane, disgusting amounts of damage, and you need a way to make your enemies get silenced for a long period of time. So that's the thing about her. Outside of that, I think that she really needs her +1 to actually stand out. Because once she gets her +1, you'll be able to lower the target's defense, the healing, and also the shields. That's going to be a big difference on her because you need a reason to bring out a hero. And 40% to turn them into silence is not a good reason to. However, this about reducing the defense by 40%, healing, that's going to make you want, okay, I need this hero to be able to weaken my enemy and take them down as soon as possible. So you really need this +1 in that case. So this is definitely her sweet spot here. Her +3 is pretty nice because it's going to neuter even more the target that you're actually targeting there with the passive in that case. And of course, you're going to need that +3 to be able to use her on defense. And last but certainly not least, removing all the stuns and all that good stuff, that is really valuable in today's teams, especially if you want to use Bubble, because Bubble needs, you heard me right, needs to have a hero Netzer that uses this, because the only thing that stops Bubble is stuns, and this will eliminate the stuns on a Bubble in that case. So that's super awesome. And finally, this freaking passive is insane when you combine with Bubble or any hero in the future that actually silences a lot. This is going to do so much damage. It's not even funny. I'm gonna release another update video for Raylan pretty soon, and it has her on defense. It's pretty freaking awesome there. So yeah, this +5 makes her revolutionize. Really powerful stuff, and that's the problem with Raylan, because the thing is that you have to have her at +5 to do insane amounts of damage. However, you are able to use her at +1 and actually focus on lowering the defense and piling up on a bunch of damage specifically on that target. So that she is useful in that case as well. So for Li-Bai, Li-Bai is a very underestimated hero, especially now that Bubble is around, because his ability, even at +0, to actually cleanse on his own for 3 freaking turns, is actually really useful. Really useful now, because you go off, you get silenced, but then you let the turn pass, you're gonna get cleansed, and you'll be able to continue playing. So that is super useful. And actually, this ability to reduce the damage a hero does by 60%, this also affects Terran. So if you're having problems taking down a Terran and you don't want to do like crazy, like really complicated strategies to beat a Terran, this is one of the ways you can actually take care of that pesky 100% damage reflection by reducing his damage by 60%. And if you want to even neuter him even more, I mean, completely like ignore Terran by that, you can get his +1 and get actually 90% of this, and it cannot be dispelled. So this is definitely the sweet spot for this guy, the +1. Because that damage reduction neuters an enemy completely. So you just have to choose the enemy that does the most damage on the team. You target that hero, and you're pretty much safe for the rest of the fight in that case. And as I said, if it's Terran, you just pile on, and until he dies. That is really powerful skill here for sure. If you don't know how to kill Terran, this is an easy way to do that, getting this guy's +1. And 60 deliberation. I don't like it that you can miss 20% of the time, but 100% crit chance and crit damage by 30%. You can get this guy Netzik Chloe's gonna do a 90% more damage pretty much, as long as he does not miss. And that whole missing thing, I think that is fixed with Elaine's ability to actually make you not... I'm not 100% sure, because this is miss, and she prevents dodging, so maybe it will help. I would need to test that out, but that could be amazing in that case, because that is a lot of damage right there. Now, Revitalize when the battle begins for the +3. This is really nice because right off the bat, you don't need to have this guy go off, and right off the bat, you're going to cleanse over and over and over, and adding a little bit more mana with the stones. That is amazing. That is a big upgrade, actually. And the +5, 80% chance to gain shield by 45%. So remember, this guy is kind of squishy. Even though it is 1K, he's still pretty freaking squishy. I remember that when I saw footage for him, he would keep dying over and over and over, because that's part of the reason. So at this point, you're not gonna need a shield weapon. You can actually use an attack weapon on him in that case. And of course, 500% extra damage to the weakened target upon him or any ally casting a skill. That is really freaking amazing. This guy is designed to focus on one target and destroy one target specifically, and he does it really well, especially if you have him at +5 and actually doing the damage. I've seen sometimes that he does do a bunch of damage as well. So yeah, I underestimated this guy, especially with Bubble around. So yeah, if you're thinking of a good way to take down a pesky Bubble, he may be a good option, because the thing is that you go off, the enemy will silence you, and you connect stones, and you're gonna lose the mana from those stones when you connect them. But after a turn passes, you're gonna get cleansed, and when you get cleansed, you'll be able to continue playing and all that. So just make sure that if you're playing Li-Bai, you go off, everybody gets silenced, and then you connect the bottom stones of the board. In other words, you turtle for one turn, you connect 3 stones from the bottom. And then you wait for the turn to pass, so everybody gets cleansed, and then you connect all of your green stones, in that case, to gain the mana back. I know that's not going to happen every single freaking time, because, yeah, green creates a lot of stones, and it's probably going to connect on its own. But that's one way to actually get around Bubble, in that case, in that situation. So that's one way, guys. And last but certainly not least, the all-great, powerful Agony. This guy, honestly, in 2024, there's been so many heroes that have been countering this guy. I mean, even without realms, just stun prevention and all that good stuff, Agony has actually lost in power recently in that case. But that doesn't mean he's not a crazy, disgustingly powerful hero, especially with his Awakening, making crit damage actually go up when him in that situation. So he's not good with bosses. That's his biggest weakness. But he's still an amazing hero. He does the damage here to actually eliminate the life link. I'm sorry, soul link from an enemy soul link. And he still does a bunch of damage. He still is an incredible stunner. I would say one of the most powerful stunning heroes in the entire freaking game. Even if he doesn't have his realm up, if you try to kill one of your If the enemy tries to kill one of your team, they're gonna get stunned all over. And there's so many heroes in this game to get neutered with stunning, and this guy stuns for 2 turns. So yeah, very powerful stuff. Very, very powerful hero for sure. His +1 is required when you're actually playing Agony, because you do need to have his realm go off right off the bat, like every other realm hero in the entire freaking game. And he does steal attack and defense in that situation. So that's going to be somewhat useful, but it does help a little bit there. The +3 is going to help out a lot in actually doing extra damage, because that critical damage resistance is going to lower by 30%. So you're going to do 30% more damage with your crits, and red is the crit color in the entire freaking game. And the +5, of course, shares damage right off the bat when the battle begins. And this is the awesome part. If somebody tries to kill you, you're gonna get immunity to death, and you're gonna stun everybody for 2 freaking turns. This is the awakening that actually changes everything for Agony, because even if you don't have the realm, this makes sure that your team survives, and you get a second chance over and over and over again to actually turn the fight around. So that's really powerful stuff, guys, for sure. Agony has been around for a long time. Everybody knows how absolutely useful this guy is. So yeah, very powerful stuff, guys, for sure. Now for the 4 stars, Tygroth, no, don't get this guy. I repeat, do not get this guy. He's not going to help out. Poofin is a decent hero. He used to be fast, now he's average. So yeah, faction buff, defense, nah, but he does heal nicely here. So that's really awesome in that case. But I haven't really seen a lot of people using him, so I can't really recommend him. Now, for Morgan, Morgan is an amazing hero. She's fast. She prevents. Oh, they changed for average. Man, they're neutering the 4 stars, man. Now she's average speed. She used to be fast. I'm sure she was fast. But she's still pretty awesome, because she's one of the few heroes that you'll be able to hold the agility stone weapon, the 4-star version. And if you're free to play, cheap to play, or things like that, you're gonna need to have her to actually hold the stone weapon in that case. And her skill is decent. More than anything, you're gonna target a specific target, so they won't be able to heal in that case. So yeah, she's a pretty awesome hero. Still, I still can't believe they made her average speed. No bueno, no bueno. And Francis, I mean, a lot of people hate Francis. I honestly dig him, because he's a dispeller that dispels the entire freaking enemy team. So that's going to be useful in certain situations. So yeah, Francis is a decent hero, guys, for sure. Very cool, guys. And finally, Belle. I love Belle. She even has her weapon awakened, but I have her weapon awakened, and she really does not have any use in the game, except in certain events in which you have to hit the same target over and over and over and over again. That's going to be freaking useful, because she's going to hit 8 times. I'm pretty sure that she used to hit 13 times. Or maybe it just stayed like that. Probably just computing with another hero. She hits 8 times, and you really need this amount of time to actually break through the damage in certain events, especially in speedrun. Speedrun, you're gonna see that a lot there. So that's the only place where you can actually need Belle. And outside of that, you're not gonna need Belle anywhere else. Sadly, very sadly. I love her character design. She's so freaking beautiful. And finally, Serapis. Serapis, you're going to use him in the Infinite team. That's the best and probably the only place you're going to use Serapis. Unless you want to actually reset the board in a team that is a rainbow-colored team. Do not use this hero on the mono red team. You're going to stay... It's gonna be a point in which you won't be able to have any redstones on the board, and that is not good for you at all. But on the Infinite team, he's an amazing character to actually reset the board over and over and over again. In that case, if you don't have Alden, it is required that you have Serapis on your team to actually make that happen. And then the other resetter of the Infinite team, it has to be a color that is not red, like green. Reset the entire board. is in that situation. So that's going to be awesome in that case. But outside of that, you can use Owlin instead of Serapis, but still, Serapis is an awesome option as well. Just in case you don't have especially if you don't have an Alden that is +5, you're probably going to use Serapis instead. Now, for the 5 stars, which one of these is my number 1 option for you to actually get? I mean, it's too obvious. It has to be Agony. Agony at +1 is so... Oh my God, he's a game changer. He in 2023 he was one of the top 10 most impactful heroes, and his power is still really relevant. Even if there's so many freaking heroes right now that actually prevents stunning, like Nightingale is a freaking nightmare. I mean, makes Agony completely useless, but still, he can still do a bunch of things, and at +1, and especially if you're in war, having him on defense like in the 2nd or 3rd team, usually that's going to be a very powerful option because nobody will be able to actually counteract them as well, because they're going to focus their anti-stun heroes in the first teams, and then on the 3rd team, on the first teams, and then on the 3rd team, they won't be able to do that because they're not gonna have that hero available anymore. So yeah, that is really powerful stuff, guys, for sure. Highly recommend to get this guy at +1 and +1 for sure. So my second option, this is going to be a little bit more tricky here between Raylan and Li-Bai, and I would say I'm leaning more towards Li-Bai just because his ability to actually cleanse, you can actually have this right up the bat at +0, and you can use that to actually counteract the old pesky bubble. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Li-Bai this time around because he actually eliminates or deals with 2 heroes that are really problematic, which is Bubble and Terran specifically. So I'm gonna go with him there in that situation. So, because, that ability to actually neuter is really freaking impressive. Highly underestimated, for sure. And, he does some really nice things. I really like Li-Bai, and he has been battle-tested for some time now. Now, for my third option, and honestly, you can choose between any of these two, but I'm leaning more towards Li-Bai because you can actually use them against 2 really problematic heroes. But Raylan is a really powerful hero. If used correctly, if paired with Bubble, she is an absolute nightmare, and especially if you get into +5. So that's the biggest problem with Raylan. She will do an amazing amount of damage if you get her to +5, and if you have a hero or a way to make the enemy get silenced a lot. That is the biggest weakness. If you're not able to get her to +5, you're going to have a lot of problems. So you are going to need and want to have her at +1 because you need a good reason to have her around, and it's not going to be for silence. You're not going to bring a hero to get 40% somebody to get silence. Let's be real, guys. However, this +1 and Lloyd, the defense on the enemy, that is going to be relevant and is going to be useful to make sure that you destroy that target as soon as possible. And the 40% chance, even if it's low, you're still having 40% chance to actually silence an enemy in that case. So that's really going to be awesome in that case. And you're going to neuter the enemy, and you're going to get mana and all that good stuff. And this 20% damage dealt, it is honestly, it's going to be relevant if you have her +5, because that's +5 every single freaking time. That slash is going to be super relevant. I've seen videos that slash destroys enemies even if they're... Yeah, I'm not going to spoil too much. I'm going to make another video on her so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So yeah, she's really awesome for sure. But you really have her... You need her to have her in higher awakenings and all that good stuff. Oh, I think I forgot for weapons. Agony, just get his own weapon. That's not complicated at all. Li-Bai, if you don't have it in +5, you need a shield weapon. If you have it in +5, you can try to use an attack weapon. Specifically, probably you're going to want to use... Lupita's weapon is nice, but he's probably going to get 100% crit chance. maybe in that case, you can give him a weapon that actually give him crit damage instead. That is really fun stuff to think around, because he's gonna get 100% crit chance. So why not raise his damage even higher? So that's really nice. And finally, Raylan. I did say that maybe her own weapon is the best choice for her, but for what I've seen in all the footage that a bunch of awesome players, thank you very much everyone for sending me all the footage that I've seen with her and in person when fighting against her, I've seen her overperform more when she has a shield weapon. So for sure, try to give her like the green bubble on her for her weapon. Man. It's man, I'm gonna have to show you. Try to get her this weapon. Let's see, agility. You can get her here Mildred's weapon or Reginald's weapon. Any of these two weapons to actually give her extra shields, because I've noticed that every single time she tends to want to die and die quickly. So having a shield weapon and having her +5, like doing that slashes over and over and over, that is amazing to see. Really powerful stuff, guys. So I'm leaning more towards a shield weapon for her. So yeah, definitely try to do that for sure. Now for the 4 stars, my number one option from all the 4 stars, which sadly one of them had gotten neutered. Oh my god. I'm gonna go with Serapis, because there's certain situations you are going to require to use Serapis when you're using the Infinite team. So I'm gonna go for Serapis for sure. Option number 2 is gonna be Morgan. Morgan, if you're free to play, you have to have Morgan to be able to hold the stone weapon. So if you require to use a hero, you're gonna need them for sure. And then as the third option, man, I think I'm gonna go with Francis. There are certain situations you need dispelling, and Francis is a dispeller that dispels the entire freaking enemy team. So that's really awesome to use. Just don't underestimate Francis. He's really powerful if you use him correctly there. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please leave it in the comments and we'll talk about it. Alright, thank you very much for watching guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.